Good afternoon again, everyone. It's Archivist David Thomas at the Cornwall Record Office here in Truro for another item in David's dazzling documents. We've been packing up a lot of material from the strong rooms for our move to Redruth for next year. And some of the things we come across remind us of the great heritage of Cornwall's records. On the table today we have a very, very large book, one of a series of 5, which is actually a manor estate survey or schedule book for the Tehidy estates. This one covers the parish of Iluggan, and as you can see, it's dated 1909. And the Bassets of Tehidy were interested in selling off their huge estates at the beginning of the 20th century, and to do that they had to record centrally what they actually held. And inside the book, which has suffered a little from damage, as you can see, from water and damp over the years before it came to us, we have what is a superb record of the estates as they were at the beginning of the 20th century. And it's a genealogist and a land historians and a house historian. We have everything. We have a rental number, we have a date of the original leases of the property, we have the owner and the person who's the current tenant, the description where it is, Carn Kai, and even a 25-inch scale ordnance survey number, in this case part of field 3728. The lives are shown on the lease, as much property was held in Cornwall on a 3-live lease basis. The age was 16 of the life at compilation. We also have what happened to the property. Sold to Alfred Champion from the 11th of August 1916 for £200, contract 199. And if you go to the contract books, you can get more detail because they survive as well. And also with this volume, there are these volumes are a series of maps, rather like a tithe map in a sense. There you can go from the map to the book and from the book to the plan, and vice versa. A superb set of manorial records. I'm just turning on a bit in the book further into the huge ownership in Iluggan that the Bassets held. We have, for example, here in 1859, this property at Tregajoran Lane was leased to Thomas Solomon, and the current tenant in 1909 was William Ellis. And again, we can see what happened to it. It was sold in 1917 for £70. Doesn't sound a lot today, but in 1909, £70 was a considerable amount of money. And turning on a bit more, and you can see they're all stamped with sold, as the great manor was sold off house by house, farm by farm, field by field in 1916. And here we have a property leased originally in 1882 by Gustavus Lambert Bassett to Mrs. E. Martin. It's in River Row in Portreath, and it was leased again 60 years from Christmas 1880. Sold to Helen Davies as from, dates not inserted, for £115. And manorial records are covered by the manorial documents rules of the 1920s and further on. And there are certain classes of documents within that cannot ever be sold out of the UK. The Master of the Rolls would not grant permission for them to ever leave the UK because they have to be available for public consultation. And surveys and maps and court books of manorial records are some of the documents covered that can never ever leave us because they are required for public consultation. And then there's a huge book, this, it's several inches thick, and just think about all of this land in Iluggan, what this would be worth today if it was still owned by the particular estate at Tehidy. We have example down here. This is a property, the Coast Guard station at Redruth, which was actually leased to Major Henry Pilkington of the Royal Engineers in 1895. The current tenant was the directors of the Admiralty, and this was sold to Bertie Pooley as from the 28th of November 1919 for £325. Quite a good sum of money. So the Bassets made a little out of that. Manorial records, another aspect of the huge amount of material we hold here at the Cornwall Record Office, which will go to our new site at Redruth next year. We hope if you're interested in property history, for example, you will come and enjoy it in its new setting. See you there.